This is our second time at the con with Archer. We're going into our third season, and it was, I think our show is specifically well suited to the con because it's an animated show. It's a beautifully animated show. It's also really very kind of a combination of very, very smart, very erudite, very raunchy. So we have a really specific relationship with our fans. I've been doing comedy for 18 years, so I have a very well-established relationship with my fan base, and I think because I've done a lot of comedic shows that are very much an embodiment of my sensibility. I did Talk Soup, which is pretty much a male-dominated fan base. That show is like 60-40 men to women. I have groups of men that come to my shows without girls. I have bachelor parties that come to my show. So I have my act is very male-friendly, and my sense of humor is, I was raised by a single dad. I'm very much a guy's girl. So my shows, I have guy fans, and they don't come because they brought their girlfriend. They come because they want to see me. And I have a lot of guys who say, you're my favorite comedian. Not you're my favorite girl comedian, or I think you're funny for a chick, but you're my favorite comic. So that's not something I cultivated. I'm just who I am on stage. I just happen to be a very guy-friendly comic. That's my sense of humor. So I'm received just fine. You know what I mean? I think in the end, you have to do comedy that's a pure expression of who you are, and not try to win people over based on what you think they're gonna like. You just have to do what you think is funny. But for me, I grew up with a single dad. I played video games all the time I was growing up. I was raised on action movies. I was raised on the back of a motorcycle. So I just talk about the stuff I like. It just happens to be things that guys like too. And in fact, the name of my podcast is Girl on Guy with Aisha Tyler, a podcast about stuff guys love. So it's really a show that's about the stuff that I'm already into and talking about that stuff with guys. I'm a huge gamer. I did a voice in the last Halo game, and so this is just already my world. So Girl on Guy is an audio on the podcast. It launches July 26th, so Tuesday, July 26th. And we have some amazing guests, including a lot of guys from Archer, and Maggie Q and Shane West from Nikita, and the Sklar brothers, and Brett Ehrlich from Infomania, and Jackie Cation, who's an amazing comedian. And it's mostly guys. We will have women on the show, and those shows will be called a special Girl on Girl edition of Girl on Guy. But it's really about, it's really talking with people about the stuff that they love. They're typically kind of guy-centric things, because there are a lot of women. I am a gamer, and it's not an idea I had. I was raised on Defender and Galaga, and so when I talk about gaming, it's a passion that I have. It's not like I'm like, let's talk about video games. This is my world already. But the show is about things that are traditionally kind of guy-oriented stuff, but it really doesn't matter who's on the show. It's just about what they're into. So when I had Jackie Cation on the show, she's really into Tolkien and fantasy and D&D and World of Warcraft, and that's the stuff we talked about when she was on. But it's a no-holds-barred show. There's no language restrictions, there's no topic restrictions, and what I love about it is it gives people a chance to come on the show and have a conversation they wouldn't get to have if they were going on the Tonight Show. And a lot of these people are, really well established in what they do, but they get to just be themselves, speak the way they would normally speak with their friends. I'm going to be talking to a bunch of pro skaters, NASCAR drivers, Bucky Lasek, who is competing at the X Games next week. I went to E3 and I got to talk to the Halo Anniversary, Halo 4 reboot guys. I did a podcast with Cliff Bleszinski, who's the design director at Epic, and obviously created the Gears of War franchise. So it's really a show for guys and people that are into guy stuff.